Good evening, good afternoon, bonsoir, buenas noches, boa noite to investors in North and South America. 我有個 investor 안녕하세요, ciao. 各位早晨 Good morning to investors in Asia. Buenas noches, buenas noches, good night, good night to investors in Europe and Africa. I'm Daniel speaking from Hong Kong. It's 21st August here and 20th August in Wall Street. This week I have three main points to talk about. Number one, Elliot Wave and three major indices. Number two, the Magnificent Seven. Number three, situation in Ukraine. After that, I'll tell our three conditions of best buying time in this falling trend instead of stock recommendations. Subscribe, like, and share. Remember to click the bell, please. Watch or play this again so as to grasp the continuous trend of the market and refresh your mind. Nasdaq is the leader of the market all the way. The current wave starts from October meteor shower of 2022 with ultra minor pattern transforming into ultra major pattern. Please refer to my videos 1 to 14. Now wave 1 starts here and then wave 1 prime, which is the starting point of the inverted head and shoulders. Then wave 2, the inverted head, and first half of wave 3, the breaking through of the inverted head and shoulders is the second half of wave 3. And then wave 4 and wave 5 is on July 19th of 14446. It then formed a double top pattern and fell below the baseline and continued to fall. On August 14th, it finished the span of falling and popped up a white candlestick when facing the support of previous low in early July, likely to form a head and shoulders. However, it had not stopped running and continued the downtrend wave of A, B, C. On August 17th, a black candlestick also reached the support of 13334 at June 26th. May have a chance to develop into another head and shoulders, but on 18th, that is last Friday, it popped up a white candlestick. So will it form another head and shoulders? We still have to observe. However, the greatest problem is that on July 19th, how could we know that it is the top? Please refer to my daily report, the US Stock Express on July 20th, 2023. We published the Fear and Greedy Index daily, and that day was at 82 points, entered into extreme greed zone. On July 21st, it already turned back down to 80 points and keeps falling till now. On that day, the heading of the market observation is Beware of Reverse Trading. Please get a free subscription to the Express. It also has a page of world observation to keep counting the day on the Russian-Ukraine conflict, and that day was day 513, and now today is day 543. We also have a listing of major central bank rates when changes comes. We also have a series of 14 teaching videos together with electronic handouts. Meanwhile, any sponsor to us concerning seminar, daily report, or video are welcome with appreciation. Please contact Professor Vitali for details. As for S&P, the bottom is the same as Nasdaq started in October, the Orient meteor shower and development with the winter triangle and return of Comet Halley. It is the same that the first wave is divided into wave 1 and 1 prime. Why? Because in early February, it is known that the start of spring, where the year of rabbit really starts and not as lunar calendar fixed on January 22nd, 2023. It also formed an inverted head and shoulders, but the breakthrough is nearly 1 month later than Nasdaq. Anyway, the top of wave 3, which is the most explosive wave, also ends around the summer solstice of June 21st and also form a small double top in July. In S&P, the second top is higher, but Nasdaq, the second top is lower. For that downtrend wave, the drop is not as steep as Nasdaq, and now the low is still above the previous low of June 26, just after summer solstice. Dow Jones is simpler. It also reached bottom in October 2022, but in double bottom, and it then soared up to form a horizontal platform from December to July, which means this period is falling far behind the Nasdaq. At length, it popped up the ranging zone, but soon fell back in a round top back to the previous zone. So the conclusion is that Nasdaq still leads the market, no matter in rising or falling. Thus, we have to view the Magnificent Seven. For AMZN, it occupies 51.33% of the Nasdaq 100 components. For Microsoft, it occupies 12.63%, which is the highest in the index. Please refer to video 39 at 2023-0710 for the three conflicts of this century. Microsoft is in keen competition with Apple. The bottom of Microsoft was not in October as Nasdaq, but in November, which is part of the W shape. It is lower than the Nasdaq, but it has an M shape and not yet finished the measure span of falling, still have room to fall. Apple occupies 12.60% in the Nasdaq and is the second largest, and it had a jumping gap in early August. When the price of Apple is under $191, the total market value will go down under $3 trillion US. I've reiterated several times that the date of September 15th, the product introduction of iPhone 15, normally will bring down the price of Apple. Take care. For the 30-day heat map chart of the Magnificent Seven, only Google is in green. Google occupies a total share of 7.44%. It has a big jumping gap, and the best buying level will be on the refilling of this gap, which is around $123. Amazon occupies 6.31% of the share in the component, but mind that it has filled a large jumping gap, but another smaller gap not yet filled, and the best buying level is even lower at the multi-leg level of $125.89. For the 7-day heat map chart of the Magnificent Seven, only NVDA is in green. NVDA is hard to be judged by the chart only, but it is forming a head and shoulders and has a large jumping gap. Mind that it is the leader of the market, and I have recommended several times in this year before the great rise. Now under the ban of chips in China, it is still quite promising. Meta occupies 3.68% in the index, even falling below the baseline of M shape of the high-low top, but the best buying level is at 100 SMA. For the 4 average lines are running steadily up. It will be somewhat around $270. Tesla occupies a ratio of 3.38%. It shows 3 death causes. So even if it is so near the 250 SMA, still have to observe. It is in keen competition with the BYDDY. Even though it has a research and development center in Ontario of Canada, but the major production line is still in China. Mind that the duel between Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg at first was said to be at the Coliseum of Italy and later set in Las Vegas. Elon Musk even said he would go to Zuckerberg's door and wait for the fight. Watch out! The effect of this will be even more important than chart analysis. It is simple and clear that the Magnificent Seven really leads the market, and investment in them are better than other stocks when in a falling trend, or else you have to turn to high dividend stocks, which we'll talk about next week. Mind that the banking stocks are all in red, no matter in 7-day or 30-day heat map chart. For the rating company Fitch already warned they would be downgraded should. Meanwhile, better try to keep away from Golden Dragon China Index stocks recently. For the Russian-Ukraine conflict, I have already said numerous times, without the F-16, Ukraine cannot do anything. The US has issued written approvals to both Denmark and Netherlands to transfer the F-16 fighters to Ukraine once the pilots have been well trained. According to the contract, when other countries purchase fighters from the US, no matter on retirement or whatsoever conditions, when landing or selling to other countries must get the approval of US first. This time, Ukraine pilots have to undergo an English training first to ensure there's no misunderstanding in communication, and that means they may work together with NATO forces in the future. Now it is said the planes can arrive in December. Now let's have a look at the map of Ukraine. Top left is the situation before the fighting started in February 2022. Top right is just 1 month later in March 2022. Russia gained a lot of advances. Lower left is November 2022, where Ukraine fights back and some land. Lower right is the current situation, which shows Ukraine really needs the F-16. Just repeat, even the counter-offensive was set to be started in April 2023, but according to financial astrology and Chinese geomancy, I said it would start in May the 6th, the start of summer. The decisive battle will be around June 21st, the summer solstice, and the victory of Wagner Group in Russia really occur around that day. So let's wide open our eyes and see what would happen in the cold drill of October 8th. Before the peace talk of February, I already said it would not have any result, but by year end may have some result. Now Putin wants to stop fighting and ask Ukraine to accept all land that Russia occupies are legal. It's impossible, but also impossible for Putin to stop fighting without gaining any land. Thus, how could he face his citizens? It is said that there will be a zigzag way to let Ukraine join NATO and cut off some land to Russia, but it won't be done directly because it will only encourage people to use military action to solve problems. When it is done, maybe the land is governed by the United Nations and we have to wait for a referendum. So we have to wait and see. Anyway, both China and US are waiting to see the result, as it will be a guideline for the war against Taiwan, and both sides will prepare well no matter what the result is. Even if the market is falling, it is not advised to have short selling in US stock market, as it is for professional traders only and not for individual investors, for the risk is too high. There are 3 chances of entering into the market. Number 1, wait for the Jackson Hole annual meeting of the Fed when Chair Powell releases dovish speech on interest rate. Number 2, wait for the iPhone introduction of Apple on 15th of September. When big drop comes, it's time to buy in. Number 3, wait for the Fear A and Greed Index to enter the extreme fear zone, which is under 25 points. We must keep close eyes on it and watch them simultaneously. So again, subscribe, like and share. Sayonara, auf Wiedersehen, adieu, bye bye, see you next week.